Hi, welcome to Inktober Day 3, a couple days late. Today's painting is the Waterfall Nebula. I'm really sorry for the delay. Like I said in my thoughts on Inktober video, I do work full-time, I do have a chronic illness, and I'm not going to stress myself over getting these done every single day. I am trying to keep on track as much as possible, but if it's gonna, affect my health or affect my well-being, it's not worth it. I'm human, I need to sleep, so this one is very similar to what I did last year for it. I really liked the concept, so I didn't want to change too much of it. I just kind of amped it up a little bit and just made it a little bit nicer looking, I think, in my opinion. So this is the Waterfall Nebula. It's actually a pretty cool nebula because it looks exactly like it says. It looks like a waterfall. And so for that specific part, I made her hair the waterfall. So if you look at pictures of the nebula, it is just this like stream of yellow space clouds kind of literally falling through space into this green nebula. And scientists didn't know for a long time why it looked like that. I don't remember off the top of my head what they stated as the reason for it after they did a little bit more research into it, but it's still a very cool nebula regardless. And it's very interesting. There's not a lot of nebulas that are that shape. For this one, she does have a little bit more color in her than the other pieces so far, and probably most of the pieces going forward. I did liven up her skin tone a little bit because there was some orange mixed into the nebula itself, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with that, but I wanted to incorporate the color nonetheless. So I gave her skin a little bit more of a peachy tone to it. So she does look a little bit more alive than the other skin tones. So for the actual green nebula, I think I did it better last year than I did this year. The color just came out kind of like, it looks like a germ. Honestly, I'm just gonna call it what it is. It looks like a big, giant germ. And so I put in a couple different shades of green to make it look less like garbagey, but I don't know, I kind of wish I went with that green that I just put there on the bottom. I kind of wish that I went with that as my base color from the start, but you live and learn. But yeah, I like what I did with this one because so far, I mean, we're only on day 3, but it's the first nebula that I actually incorporated the nebula itself into the design of the space girl, rather than, the other two were just kind of laying across the nebula. This one, I specifically took the nebula and turned it into her hair, and I really like that interpretation of it. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more designs like that, where instead of them, I mean, a lot of them will be, it's a space bath series. It's called Milky Way baths. They're going to be bathing in these nebulas, but I liked the idea of incorporating more of the nebula itself into their design. So I'm going to try to do more of that in the future. So I actually went darker ink with this one. The other two, I mean, they still had a lot of ink in them, but overall they kind of were a little bit more lighter toned. This one has a darker concentration of the black ink. And I do like it. It brings out the space, side of it a little bit more. So I'm gonna try to do that. The problem is that once the ink dries, it dries lighter than it goes on wet. As you can see, even right now, as I'm going through this time lapse, you can see the ink drying and the color fading. So it does take a lot of layers to get that dark ink color. So sometimes it's easier just to let it be a little faded, and then even, after I take a picture of it, just to up the contrast a little bit to make the darks look darker. See, right there is the perfect example. The moment it dried, it went from like a nice inky black to a faded gray. So sometimes you just gotta call it quits. Otherwise you could just be doing layer upon layer upon layer and never getting the result that you're looking for. So, you know, I don't know if it's the specific ink that I'm using. I'm sure there are inks that are a little bit thicker, but I only have what I have, and I like it enough. I'm not gonna go out and buy new ink halfway through this, because I know what this ink does already, and it's just easier to work with what I'm already used to rather than switching supplies mid-project. We're still going strong with that clean edge. I wasn't sure about this one because I kind of messed up taping it. I made some of the tape too short and I had to double up the layers of tape, and I really thought that it was bleeding through, but it turned out okay. So I think the tape I'm using in combination with the paper I'm using is a really good, they work really well together, so I'm gonna keep up with that. So I hated the green so much that then I kind of had the thought of, let me soften it up a little bit and make it less germ looking by adding just some like white acrylic ink and kind of using wet on wet to just kind of fluff it out. It made it more space cloud looking. I like the way it turned out once I added the white. I really like what I did with the hair wispies for this one. I actually used two different colored gel pens. I went with white and gold just to kind of give her hair a little bit something extra, because I love hair wispies. I'm never not gonna do hair wispies. And then we're just giving her a couple of Space Girl tattoos. That is a recurring theme that you'll see throughout the series. It's just something that I like. It's just my personal style. This video actually turned out shorter than the other two because I really didn't have too many struggles with it. It went pretty smoothly for me. I knew what I was going for. I had a clear picture in my mind, and I didn't really have to do too much. It went really easily for me, so that was good. The only reason it took me so long to upload was because it just takes a lot of time to actually edit these videos, and I just had a lot going on. But yep, so here she is. Here is the Waterfall Nebula. Thank you so much for your patience waiting for this video to come out. I'm hoping to get back on track soon. So I will see you next time for day 4. Thank you for watching.